Hi, welcome to Ekate's Crossing. Okay, I'm going to dive a little deeper into the decks that I'm going to use for October in a little bit more detail in regards to readings and things like that. So, the first deck we're going to look at is the Occult Tarot by Travis McHenry. Now, he does also do an Angel Tarot as well, which I quite like, and I know there's another deck that he has here, that Bosch deck that he has, which is not my cup of tea. The artwork is funny, it's a bit of a laugh, it's a bit sort of naughty, but it's not my sort of art style. But I can appreciate the artwork, but it's not my deck. Anyway, it's not a deck that I have in my collection anyway. So, like I said, I've got the Occult Tarot here. Now, the Occult Tarot are based on demons. Now, it doesn't mean that you go through and you invoke the demonic energy. I like to use it as looking at maybe the, what I want to say is the shadow side of ourselves. I use it like a shadow side within ourselves. Especially when you're working with the Angel Tarot as well, working with the two decks together. But I do like working with it with the Fallen Angel. Now, I use it more like as in the tarot card meanings. I don't go too much into the demonic energy as such, not for readings. I may, out of study, out of learning about them, but I'm not going to invoke the demonic energy into our readings. Not going to do that at all. It's not something that I'm interested in. It's not something that I would do for a client. We want love and light. Yes, we want to face the demonic side of ourselves, the demons that we might carry within ourselves, but we're not going to manifest demonic energy. So I want to make that very, very clear, that when I use the Occult Tarot, we're protected by the angels, we're protected by my guides, we're not going to call in any sort of demonic energy when I use this deck at all. So I just want to make that very, very clear, so you know that you're not going to get that sort of energy. We want love and light, we want guidance, we want to be empowered on our journey. Even when we receive messages that we might not appreciate, or we might in the moment, but take a minute to sort of reflect. Sometimes the cards can give us a message that can seem a little harsh, a little bit maybe not quite what we want to hear, but if we can just take a moment to really listen to what the cards are telling us, then we can get a new perspective on maybe the situation that we're going through at this time. So, the first thing is the Occult Tarot. Now, the guidebook is based on the demon. You're only going to get the sort of demonic energy, or not demonic energy, but the demonic information, demon information from the guidebook. In regards to sort of like normal tarot meanings, it's sort of quite an advanced tarot deck. It's definitely an advanced tarot deck, I would call it, but it's definitely, do you know the meaning of the tower? What does the tower mean to you when you think about it? Yes, it's got promoter of discord, war, arguments, and falsehood, gives generous responses. That's an interesting one. With Visago. So I think he's done a really good job without going into all the symbols. I mean, I could pull in a whole lot more information if that was my thing. But I like to just stick to the tower. What does the tower mean? So that sort of thing. So having a quick look at the imagery on the cards, as you can see, we've got the tarot card here. You've got the demon description, the demon title. You've got a little bit of a description underneath, so you could use it like an oracle deck if you wish to, but I definitely wouldn't use it to call on the unless you really know what you're doing, unless that's part of your practice, if you know what I mean. If that was part of your daily practice, you knew and understood the invoking of the demons, well, yeah, I would maybe, if that was your thing. but make sure that you have that knowledge. Super important here. So as you can see, just to sort of give you an idea of what the cards, as you can see, basically black and white with a little bit of sort of brick red colour on it. They are red, edged, and the sigils and that on the back. So yeah, it's got quite a lot of information on the card if you want to dive into it a little deeper, if that's your interest. For me, it's really about that sense of facing the demons that lie within us. We all have those demons that we want to hide from the rest of the world, or that we want to, or that we deny. So that's what this is for me, is the demons that we might need to face within ourselves. So yeah, bit of a ramble, I know. But I wanted to sort of dive into that a little deeper, a little bit about my thoughts about why I use the deck, how I, look, I use it with on its own. I use it with the Fallen Angel Oracle, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I use it with the Yin and Yang energy, with the Angel Tarot. Works really, really well with the Angel Tarot of the same name, if you want to do a light and dark type of reading. So you can see all that on my channel if you want to go back and have a look at some of the videos that I've already done in regards to the Occult Tarot. You'll find little bits and pieces like that. So I just wanted to go through, show the cards a little bit, so you can have another look at what the images are like. Talk about my experiences with this deck. I have not called on any of the demonic energy. I haven't done any invoking or anything like that. For me, it's very much about working with the tarot aspects and the little bit down here, facing the demons that lie within us, the things that we may deny within ourselves, you know, our adversities, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's really important to be very clear about how you use this deck, because you do not want to be calling, you know, as a person, as an individual, you don't want to open yourself up. Now, it's not the cards that are doing it, okay? It's not the card, it becomes your intention. You yourself is the vessel, okay? So if you yourself is the vessel, if you're opening yourself up to these energies, it's not the cards that are opening up the energy, it is you yourself. So it's how you choose to protect yourself that's going to make a difference. I call on my guides, I call on the angels and archangels, I call on the light when I'm doing readings, to be able to face the demons that lie within ourselves. So I'm not asking for outside influences in regards to the demonic energy. I'm only asking for love and light and that's all that's going to come in to face the demons that lie within. So yeah, just a little bit of my thoughts, my rambles into why I love this Occult Tarot deck and how I choose to use it. I think it's a very personal journey. See, here we have the Andros, the Chariot. He's got quite a bit of a splash of red on him. Shower of Discord, Slayer of Men. A sower of discord and slayer of men. For me, the Chariot's very much about moving forward. And when we're talking about denying that within ourselves, maybe we are sort of rushing ahead without really thinking about what direction we're actually going in. Yeah, let's sort of look at it like that. So yeah, just to give you an idea. And so like with the Hierophant, if you're talking about our shadow self, maybe our spirituality, our faiths and beliefs are overtaking logic. You know, we're unable to think for ourselves because of our spirituality, of our faith. You know, maybe we're not quite educated enough on what's actually going on around us in regards to our religious beliefs. Things like that is what you can sort of look into. Here we've got Six of Pentacles. Now, Six of Pentacles to me is the sense of normally about having a sense of harmony. Maybe we're giving, or and I think the shadow self of that is all that thing that maybe we give too much of ourselves. You know, maybe we are disharmonious in the way that we give of ourselves, you know, in charity, things like that. Sometimes we sort of, is a detriment to our own future. We give so much away that it's a detriment to our own future. Like Four of Swords with that resting. Maybe we're in meditation, but maybe it's too much. Maybe it's a detriment to our social aspects of our life. So yeah, like I said with the guidebook, it's not a lot of information. You have very, let's have a look. It's got an insightful guide. Introduction, you've got the occult tarot meanings, the cards, and then you've got introduction, King Solomon and the demons, preparation and offerings, calendar of summoning, using the occult tarot, different ways that suggestions, questioning when you want to question the demons, how to lay out the cards in a Celtic cross, occult tarot meanings, the 6 rulers, and then the rest of the cards from there. So quite interesting. Doesn't give you very much, just gives you the what's actually written on the actual card. But then it just says resonates with the 8 of, like, say, for example, folklore, which is card number 41, which is actually the 8 of Swords. Just says kills by drowning and can sink ships, will spare any life by request, and that's actually already on the card anyway. And then it just says resonates with the 8 of Swords in the traditional tarot. So you've really got to know what traditional tarot is. Okay, so we've got the occult tarot that I've sort of discussed there. Rambled on quite a bit. Oh god, that was about 12 minutes. Okay, so we've got the occult tarot. Now I'm going to talk about the fallen angel. Okay, this is an oracle deck by Nigel Suckling. He does also do a dragon tarot as well, which is quite different. Okay, so we've got the fallen angel oracle, which I love. Comes in a 2-piece box, of course. Okay, so what I want to talk about here are the cards. Now, these are angels that fell from grace, if you like. We want to talk like that, fell from grace. Now, each card is sort of, it shows what I'd call like a statue, statuette, in like a cemetery type of look. It has the name of the fallen angel, a number, and a little bit of a keyword there, which is quite cool. Now you'll see, sometimes you'll see the same keyword on several cards, but they may have slightly different meanings. But I think you can decide to either use the book or just trust in your own intuition through, you know, what does the word mean to you. So you can see the different colours, the different... Now there's no set place to where the cards have their titles or anything, so we're just going to go through there. So let's go through the images first. As you can see, the colours and the statues and the cemetery or the temples just give you that sort of very sort of fallen energy, fallen from grace energy. So again, I feel like these are very much looking at the things that we may deny in our life. I mean, it does give us some understanding, but some enlightenment, renewal, resolution. So there is a lot of, I think it's quite a balanced deck in regards to its words, like discretion, It's got success, rebirth. It does have things like help and healing, upheaval, persuasion. Now, what does persuasion can be in so many different ways? You know, can persuasion be a good thing or a sort of a negative aspect? Love, force, refreshment, restraint, leadership. It's got strength with turmoil, upheaval again, honesty, change and development, upheaval again, choice. There's conflict. Now moderation. So you can sort of see the keywords here. You'll see them repeated. You'll see that there are different colours on the deck. There's different things going on the card. And if you read a little bit more in the guidebook, it's going to tell you a little bit more about what it means from this fallen angel, what it means. It's got some animals in the deck, which in the cards and the imagery, which can give you a little bit more information. So what does that animal mean to you? Because remember, when you're given the card, it's not necessarily what the creator or the author thinks about. It's what you feel the card could mean in that moment. It's your experiences. You're the one doing the reading. So you can see the lovely colours that's used in the deck from the images. So I love using this deck with another angel deck. Using it with the Occult Tarot, using it with another angel if you're going to do that sort of yin and yang type of reading. I think it gives you that real balance to me. Feels like it makes you go a little deeper. I actually think this would go really well with the Tarot Z as well. Now we've got Tarot Z with the Fallen Angels. So yeah. So as you can see, there's your images there. So let's have a look at the guidebook here. So this is the guidebook. So we begin with Discover the Art and Wisdom of Prediction with Nigel Suckling. It's by Setco Books. So it's got the contents, introduction, the origins of the cards, the gender of the angels, the elements, the planets, how to lay out the cards with 3-card spread, 5-card spread, classic 10-card spread, Solomon's seal spread, and 7-card pyramid. So there's quite a lot of spreads that we can try out. So if you're interested in me sharing some of the spreads from this guidebook, please let me know. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see what and we'll see what spreads we do. Card meanings. So introduction's quite good. We've got the origins of the cards, the gender of the angels, which are quite interesting. The elements, so we've got air, water, fire, and earth. So air is intellect, water emotions, fire is action, and earth is material world. So that's quite interesting. So what it does is when you look at the also with each of the elements, it does give you keywords and what the element of the air actually means, or the element actually means, which is quite interesting. So yeah, interesting. So then it gives you the planets. So then it will give you with the planets, with the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Okay, so that's the 7 planets there. It will tell you keywords, maybe an example. It does give you an example of a fallen angel. tells you, so with the planet, it does tell you what the element is and what that means together. So interesting. Interesting indeed. So there's quite a lot there. Tells you how to lay out the cards, of course, as I said, with the spreads, as we go into the different spreads. So it describes the spread, tells you how to lay them all out as well. So interesting. And it does give you a sample interpretation. So it does say how they've laid out the deck and what the cards were and how to read them. Okay, so with the meanings, you've got your card here. Then you've got your little bit of your description and going into a bit more detail at the bottom here. There's some keywords and then the description. So quite a bit, a little bit of, it's a jump start. If you want to know more about the fallen angel, I definitely suggest you do your research, get a little bit more information about each one if you want to sort of dive into it. If that's something you want to do, I definitely suggest that you go and do some more research about each of the fallen angels if you want to. That is something you can definitely do. So working with these two decks together, with the occult and the fallen angel, is my first pairing. So really interesting there. I just wanted to share those two decks to start with, and next week I'll share another pairing or another combination of decks that I'm using. So just wanted to sort of share, open up two decks, dive into them, do a bit of a quick flip through, talk about what I think about the decks now that I've actually worked with them a little bit, and the messages that I get are really profound, quite deep, and working with this sort of energy, like I said with this, and then using the tarot oracle with because so using the tarot oracle from this and using the tarot, the angel tarot, and then using the oracle deck, the angel oracle by Ambica Waters, with it, with that same sort of look, works really, really well. And I'll show that in another video at another time, or you may have already seen it if you've looked at my pairings without really going into a lot of depth and that sort of stuff. So now that I've had a chance to actually work with these decks, I love these two decks together in a reading. Shall we do let's do a quick, let's look at the week ahead. Okay, so the card that we get here is Six of Cups. So it feels like you're going to be dealing with a lot of memories. Feels like there's a lot of memories that are going to be brought up this week. A lot of memories, a lot of things from the past. So tell us a little bit more about that there. And I'm actually going to get two oracle cards with this one. So we get a tarot with two oracles. So it does talk about, yes, things are going to be a bit of a... So this week we might feel ourselves got memories of the past and it's going to cause a bit of an upheaval. But if we can actually work through this upheaval, acknowledge this upheaval that's going on for the week, is going to allow us to have the success that we desire. So I think this week's going to get us to really face our past, even though it's going to cause us a bit of an upheaval. It's going to allow us to really sort of acknowledge, deal with the past. It's going to, even though it's going to cause us a lot of upheaval, it's going to cause us these moments of feeling like, oh my god, this is overwhelming, it's stressful, it's just too much. If we can actually push through this upheaval with this acknowledgement of the past, is going to allow us to have the successes that we want. It's going to allow us to feel like we can get through anything. It's going to allow us to push ahead with such strength and knowledge. I think it's really important. So what an interesting combination of cards there when we think about the success, the past life stuff we're going to have. To get the success that we actually want, we're going to have to challenge ourselves in many ways. Really, really interesting. Okay, so now that we've actually looked at it, okay, so what can we do to actually get through this challenge, to get the success that we actually want in our life, what do we actually need to do? Okay, the first thing we need to do is find a connection, find a balance of our emotions. I think it's very important to balance with the Two of Cups, find that balance, that connection that's really important to us through this. Page of Cups, get ourselves back into alignment. So, you know, make sure that we don't feel like we're a fish out of water. Deal with our emotions. I think we're expected to deal with our emotions. Quite important at this time. To face adversity. And then we have Page of Wands. So Page of Wands, I'm sort of getting here, is that sense of we need to look at the past, present and future. So we need to do a bit more of an overview of where we are. I think it's really important to acknowledge the past, but we also need to acknowledge where we are right now and what's our goals. Where are we headed? I think that's going to help us deal with whatever is going on. As we're going to look at our goals, we're going to look at what's ahead, we'll look at our past, we're going to look at our present. Where are we right now? What have we actually achieved and what lies ahead? I think that's really important with the Page of Wands here. I think it's very much looking at what we can learn from the situation. What can we, what experience can we gather from this this experience? I think that's super important here. So there's quite a lot to think about when you look at this deck in particular, when we look at these two decks together and how they can work. I mean, there's lots of ways you can use these in different spreads, different layouts, working together, reading in columns down. You could do, you know, like a 3 tarot cards and 3 oracle cards and put them together. There's lots of ways you can read these any way you want. This is just one way that I quite like to do, is to pull a tarot card, then you pull 2. I would normally only pull 1 oracle. Pull a tarot, normally only pull 1 oracle, but I got called to pull 2 in this case, and then another 3 tarot on top to sort of give us a little bit about, you know, how can we actually move forward? What do we actually need to do to get the success, the victory? And we know that we've got to push through the upheaval, but then we've got to talk about our experiences. You know, how do we gain experiences in this? And that's by acknowledging the past, acknowledging where we are right now, so that we can move ahead into the future. Okay, so yeah, interesting indeed. So that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below, check the links on my channel, like, subscribe and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.